What is going on YouTube? Hayden back making another brand new Crypto TV episode. In today's video, we're going to be looking at Litecoin, Bitcoin, Ethereum, as well as XRP to USD. We're also going to be looking at an article posted by MarketWatch, which discusses more about what is the Bitcoin halving and which day does it happen for everyone that is interested in what is going on. We're also going to be looking at DueDEX as well as the current coin market cap. And as you guys know, we've had the massive drop that took place yesterday, the 11th. Today is currently the 12th. So we're kind of seeing the aftermath of this halving right now. We're pretty much right in the middle of it. So by tomorrow it will be over, and then we'll figure out exactly what will happen and what is going on moving forward in the future. Otherwise, if you guys are new to the channel, definitely make sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications, leave a giant thumbs up. This way it helps the YouTube algorithm. Otherwise, remember to follow me on Twitter at CryptoTheOfficial. This way, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you could just hop over there and DM me. Otherwise, let's jump into today's episode. So as you guys can see, yesterday's video, I discussed why the XRP ripple and Bitcoin price and the drop may not actually be over. What exactly do we have to talk about? And I do want to start off by discussing the fact that this is when the halving is happening. It's happening right now. So there are some implements that could consider that we may actually see the drop continue to head lower. But before that, I want to show you guys some other very interesting things. If you check out the MarketWatch article that they have here and what exactly it means, for those of you that didn't really get a great understanding of what it meant yesterday, the halving is basically, here we go, is when the halving will bring the reward for miners down to 6.25 Bitcoins. So originally, obviously, it was about 13, I believe, or 12.5, and now it's down to 6.25. Originally, those mining Bitcoin were rewarded with 50 coins every 10 minutes, but that reward was cut in half to 25 in 2012, and then 12.5 in 2016, and now it's going to 6.25. The point of this halving, and it's happening obviously right now between May 11th and 12th, which is today, the point of this is obviously to tighten up the scarcity and the level of scarcity that in theory should push prices higher. As you can see, experts in the industry say that the point to pass halving events are usually creating a price floor for Bitcoin. So we usually find a bottom and we don't end up going below that, moving farther and farther up, which is definitely a good consideration. But otherwise, I do just want to jump right into the technical analysis using this halving talk and figuring out exactly what we should be paying attention to. You guys can see it at the top 10 cryptos. Really, we're not seeing much movement at all. We're not seeing any movement to the upside, any movement to the downside. It's mainly just consolidation. Besides Binance Coin, everything is merely trading fairly neutral. We're not seeing any big jolts to the upside or any big drops to the downside. It's mainly just sideways movement. Now, what I want to talk about with you guys is the very interesting movements we're starting to see within the market. And this goes back to a couple of points. So obviously we know that Bitcoin is the coin we can short. Bitcoin is the coin we can obviously leverage and trade long. And that's why I like to focus on Bitcoin. And I like to make my trades within Bitcoin. And I use DueDEX for that. But the problem becomes sometimes the chart becomes hard to read. Like right now, it's kind of teeter-tottering on difficulty for reading. So that's why I use other cryptocurrencies to gauge what exactly is going on. So we use Litecoin, Ethereum, XRP to kind of help us figure out where we could be moving to. Maybe another chart might show something that, Bitcoin and the other cryptos aren't. So when we look at Bitcoin, we can clearly tell we fell fairly low yesterday, but it seems like we're consolidating now. But then take into account that we did just have a bearish cross on the MACD on the daily. We have a bearish cross right here. That is a big sign that we're probably going to head lower. We can then consider on the weekly, when you look at the weekly on a long-term scale, you can see that Bitcoin is even more likely to continue to pull back down. So in regards to moving forward in the future and what you guys should be doing in relevance to trade, not only am I going to be specifically sharing my trades that are up and coming on my Patreon, and huge shout out for everybody for finally surpassing 70 people on Patreon. That is absolutely amazing. We had a ton of people, over like 10 people sign up yesterday. So definitely make sure to check that out. Patreon is where I post all my trades, buy long, sell shorts. Basically a way just to give this information to you guys live and up to date so you don't miss out on this, time-sensitive information. But in regards to my analysis, my prediction moving forward in 2020, I do believe short-term, within the next 2 or 3 weeks, Bitcoin is going to once again continue to head up higher. But I do believe we're going to hit this resistance and fall back down in the long term. So what I'm ultimately, assuming and figuring out is that we do have an uptrend here. We did this week just retest the bottom right here. We started a new candle. We have a little bit over 5 days left for this candle to finish. And then we're pretty much going to see what exactly is going to happen. Notice we've been using this uptrend for weeks now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 weeks now. We've had nice consolidation to the upside, a nice uptrend moving us higher up, but we do know, and we have to take into consideration, that there is this massive resistance that has been proven successful in maintaining resistance for 3 years. So there's a very good chance it's going to break bearish from that. But we do still have maybe 2 more weeks left to fill in this gap, to move back up, to retest $9,500. That's about a $600 to $700 jump on the current price of Bitcoin. If not more, if we fall to 82, then it's about like maybe even a $1,500 jump. Ultimately, I think we have at most 2 weeks left to move up to the upside. Now, for those of you who are short-term traders, this is an advantage. You guys can still consider making profit off of the slow movement to the upside, but also consider that right after that, more risky, there's a good chance we are going to pop bearish and fall down. Very obvious reason for my prediction. You guys can clearly see this on the weekly. There's a good chance it's going to scale back down and correct lower. But in the interim, for right now, there's a very big chance we're going to continue to use this uptrend to boost the price higher. So there's a good chance we're going to see movements like this, or just an ultimate swing back up, retest 94, 90, $93.50, $9,400, and then kind of fill this in and then break bearish once again. This is really what I'm looking for. We haven't completed the uptrend just yet. We came back down and kind of create a new higher low. It may not be one just yet. We may actually fall a little bit lower, and that will complete the higher low. But ultimately, I do think we're going to retest this resistance one last time before the ultimate bearish break. And the reason I believe that we're out of this slow short-term bear market for just right now is because when you look at the other cryptocurrencies, it shows very, very, very significant reasons for a bottom to be found. You can see on Ethereum, very clear as day, that the bottom right here is in. We're bouncing off of this, and there's a very big chance we're probably going to use this as a means of support to boost not only Ethereum's price higher, but Bitcoin's price higher. There's a good chance we'll fill out and fill in the rest of this gap. It's very clear. Now, when you look at XRP, a coin that broke bearish, a coin that broke its uptrend and its downtrend here, we're hanging on right now. It's very hard to track the specific currency. I mean, there is still a support we could use. If we just base this off of the current support back in December of 2019, you can see there's a clear uptrend. There's a clear channel here that we're using. We're kind of hanging above this, and there's a good chance we'll also see the consolidation outwards. Ultimately, we did break below our higher low, so that is a negative for this cryptocurrency. We did have an extreme bearish break right here on the MACD. So there's a lot of reasons to consider that they are going to pretty much consider pulling back down. Now, when you look at Litecoin, this coin is definitely one of the more difficult ones to track unless we take a look at the weekly, figure out what exactly is going on here. We can see an even more interesting pattern, very similar to Bitcoin. There's definitely a long-term downtrend. Check this out, guys. So one thing that we didn't really notice in the past, but it's kind of hugging the coin right now, is there's a massive downtrend, very, very, very similar to Bitcoin. That's also pushing the price of this coin down since the start. Or we can even adjust it a little more if we really wanted to, use the tops here. It's very easy to move it down here. That's ultimately what I'd like to do. And there's a good chance that's actually how it is, unless, depending on how we trade the next couple of days, we may head up a little bit higher, and then I would just merely move this up like this. But for right now, I'm going to leave it just like how we have it right now. And ultimately, you guys can clearly tell that there is a big, significant downtrend on the coin itself. We have clearly our bottom support. Maybe this could be an uptrend as well. This one's a little bit harder to gauge. Something like that is definitely in the works, and you can clearly see that there is a very significant downtrend, just like Bitcoin is having too. So for the most part, most of these cryptos are hitting resistance, but there is still room for us to head up higher. That's not gone away just yet. There is still movement to the upside, so it's merely just a waiting game. I do believe in the short term we are going to continue to head up higher. We may actually retest some previous levels, but then ultimately I do believe long term, like 3, 4, 5 months, we're probably going to start to head back down on Bitcoin. So ultimately, guys, get ready to short. Honestly, if you guys want to play a conservative like me, I'm going to wait for this to fill in. It doesn't end till like the end of May, which really isn't that much time. It's about 2 weeks, if not a little less. But for the about 2 weeks, yeah. So we're going to wait for this to fill in ultimately, and then there's a very big chance we're going to short this market. I'll update you guys on Patreon, but short this from 92 to about closer to $5,500. Definitely make sure to check that out. Obviously, the tool I use to short is DueDEX. You can see we sell short right here. There's a link in my description if you did want to sign up. Free to sign up, and I do believe they're offering some free Bitcoin to sign up too. So definitely take advantage of that. I know I did, but otherwise, that's going to wrap up today's episode. If you are new to the channel, definitely make sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications, leave a try and thumbs up. Follow me on Twitter at CryptoVOfficial, and I will see you in tomorrow's video. Peace.